What is up, everybody? It's your boy Ren, and we're back with another episode of Xbox Game Pass and Review, your first look at the latest and greatest on the Xbox Game Pass network. Now, we've been doing a whole bunch of stuff here on Game Pass and Review. This field inspection, we're going to take an hour-long look into a new game here, and as you knew from one of the last times that we were here, that there was a new February drop for games on the Xbox Game Pass network, and we're going to talk about one of them. Well, kind of talk about one of them. We're going to be playing Citizen Sleeper today for our field inspection. However, this is not the game that recently just dropped. It's actually its sequel that just dropped, but I felt that it was a little unfair to play the sequel without playing the first, since they're both on the Xbox Game Pass. So I'm going to go ahead and do Citizen Sleeper, the first one here, do a field inspection of that, get a kind of a feel for it, and then we'll go and play Citizen Sleeper 2 and have a field inspection of that one, where we play its own independent hour and kind of look at the differences between the two of these and some of the similarities, and just see how different they feel. Now, I know I've heard stuff about Citizen Sleeper, right? I don't know that I remember anything about what I've heard. For what I do know, it's kind of a read RPG. If you understand what that means. So a lot of this is going to be just kind of text-based, bubbles, things like that, little maps here and there. There's no real like moving around as far as I'm aware. So it's mostly kind of a UI-based game, you know. So we're gonna take a look at it, and we're gonna just go ahead and start our field inspection here. Press A to start. Citizen Sleeper 2 announcement. Yes, I already know that. Okay, so directional pads are definitely a thing here. Let's go ahead and choose this one. Alright, so here we go. Here's the RPG stuff. Operator. An operator works with drones and high-precision remote machines to perform complex tasks from a distance. Sleepers assigned to operator work, usually cerebral and precise people. Skills, engineer, work with machines and physical tools. Interface +1, work with digital interfaces. Endure -1 to the use of strength of will. Intuition, approach problems with awareness. Engage, approach a problem head on. Okay. What else do we got here? Extractors. Extractors work on resource extraction, often in the hard vacuum environments. Sleepers assigned to extraction work are often confident, self-sufficient, and have a high level of endurance. +1 to endurance, -1 to intuition, or intuit. And then we have machinist. Machinist repairs and modifies automated systems using industrial resource extractor. Sleepers assigned to machinist work usually are diligent, careful, and structured people. +1 to engineering, -1 to engage. Who are we? Cerebral and precise, self-sufficient, confident, and you know what? We're gonna go with operator. I think operator tends to be closer to what I would see myself as here. Looks like we're heavily going to use the directional pad here instead of our thumbsticks. The first thing you become aware of working is on waking is the disconnect, the delay between thinking and feeling, between wanting to act and acting. Minor, almost imperceptible, but always present. Where are you? It's at its worst when waking, when yourself has spent many dark hours recalling what it felt like to be real, to be a person, to be in a body that was indisputably yours. Think of that body. A leap into a cold lake on a hot day, the sting of blood welling from a fresh wound, the friction of a fingertip. All of a sudden the memories are closer than you thought, blurring as you approach until you can't tell one from another. The cold slips in behind and around you, and sensations fade out of reach. Perhaps you should be thankful for the dulled nature of this new body, given your current circumstances. The walls of the container feel immediately present, cold, hard at your back and face, cramping your limbs. You resist the desire to stretch, knowing that the claustrophobia comes next, and retreat a little from your central nervous system. It isn't painful, not like you used to know pain at least. In emergency mode, pain is a message delivered with efficiency and ease, a reminder that harm is imminent. There is no incessant throb, no trampling nerves, just a warning delivered with the banal quality of a digital notification. Right now, there are thousands of them. Remember the plan. You mostly remember that it wasn't a good plan, but but then your options were limited. And once you get the itch to get out by any means possible, it was either the plan or something much worse. It was at least simple. Collapse the shaft, drift away into the chaos, slip into the cargo processing, seal yourself into containers, and then just hope the freighter left before you were missed. Some were lost in the shaft, others never found the meeting point. Only a few made it to the containers, but the freighter, as far as you know, left. That feels like enough to know that you might no longer be on that grim and heartless rock. Even if, in the airless hold of a freighter, you might freeze solid long before you reached any destination. Try to rest. But you are restless. It has been a long time since you left, surely weeks, maybe months. You are dully aware of damage to your legs, your right arm. You have been reserving energy as much as possible, but your body has still needed to shut down many of its systems to protect you. You have spent much of the time asleep, knowing that anything else would be impossible to endure. You feel the weight of that impossibility begin to gather. It is time to sleep again, to nudge this false body into inducing delta waves in your emulated mind, and once again recoil into a dream of when you were once a person. Rest. Time passes, the cold creeps further in. You feel something. Warmth. Not true warmth, but the indication of its presence. Your joints release from their rigor. Sound, too, everywhere, screeching and shimmering so loud that your body ducks your hearing to protect its sensors. Then light, white as the cold, softer and softer, until in a haze of dirty yellow a figure appears. You are out. Dragos. It's been a few hours since Dragos pulled you from the container. You sit huddled in a corner of his scrapyard, swaddled in the reflective folds of a mylar blanket. You are slowly coming back to consciousness, back to life, and you stare at the ornately curving element of an improvised heater. You are surrounded by angular, incoherent lumps of ships, some corroded beyond recognition, others still carrying glassy wounds along their edges where a plasma arc sliced them apart. As you trace their shapes with foggy eyes, you hear a voice. So, sleeper, you all thawed out yet? Almost. Never seen one of you come in like this. New frames must have been preserved in sub-zero vac. Seen more than a few of you frozen solid to hull plates or inside-outer lockers in my time. They weren't so lucky. Dragos comes into focus, shrouded in makeshift tech, his headset with its glinting eyes the mark of a drone operator. On his shoulder, one of his symbiotically linked drone perches, its irising eye locking you with an unflinching stare. Last living sleeper that came through this yard was a while ago. They didn't last long. You struggle to read his expression beneath the tech, but he seems lost in a memory for a moment. Or perhaps he is just figuring out what to do with you. What happened to them? He ignores your question. I won't ask what led you to do it, to sell yourself to a corporation, and I suppose you know you can't go back. Your old body, that's theirs now, and you are just software, a rogue emulation illegally possessing corporate property. You nod along. You remember biometrically signing the forms, the cold floor on your feet as you padded to the sleeper cells. The promise of a life off-world, but as you do, you get the now familiar sensation that these aren't your memories. They are things you know, but not things you feel. You are no longer that person. You are an offshoot, a copy. What you won't know is what's ahead. At least the last one didn't. There's no easy way to put it. The body of yours is falling apart. It's the same for any sleeper who makes it out. S&ARP wants to protect the property, but if they can't keep hold of you, well then no one can. You remember that too, or at least rumors of it from the other sleepers. Planned obsolescence, a built-in dependence on the regularly administered supplements that were part of your team. Stop taking them and your body begins to shut down, separate from your emulated mind. How long has it been? How long do you have? But for now, sleeper, you are one of the lucky ones. Dragos glances up and away towards the glassy dome of the yard. The eye is the best place you could be right now. The eye? The station. You'll see soon enough. Dragos impatiently shifts his weight. Look, I've got things to be getting on with, he trails off. There's an old freighter container I've been using as storage out in the stacks. We haven't been pulling in much valuable scrap these days, so you're welcome to it. Something wells up inside you. Emotion, fatigue. You shake your head and get to your feet. Alright, you head up there. You look like you need some rest, and with Drago stalks back into the Rex, his drone already converging on a resting Hulk. Plasma flashes silhouetting its spindly figure as he returns to work. Welcome to Erlin's Eye. Life on the Eye runs in cycles, during which you can talk to characters, explore areas of the station, and perform actions. At the end of each cycle, you need to head to your current home to rest. Resting will move time forward on the station. Head to the empty container location to rest and end the cycle now. Okay. Empty container. End the cycle. You wait curled up in the corner of the container and begin slowly assembling the world around you. After all this time, you still find this body, the one you waken now, strange and disjointed. Its message is readable, but somehow wrong. You sit up, pulling the mylar blanket close against the cold. Here you are on this ruined station, millions of miles from anyone you know. Are you still in the system? Did any of the others make it out? It's impossible to know. After all this, what matters? Building a life. Maybe you did get lucky finding yourself here. Maybe here on the edge of everything, there's a life for you to build. But before you can build anything, you'll need to learn to survive. Maybe if you can do that, you can make a life for yourself. Dragos has left a few comforts to the container: the mylar blanket, the bedroll you slept on, a canister of water, a makeshift electric stove, and some faded sachets of some desiccated powder. You thumb the powder stud on the stove and begin to boil the water. Power stud on the stove and begin to boil the water. The contents of the sachets smell like damp wood, and you sprinkle them into the liquid. As the pungent smell watches over you, images from your restless sleep come back to you. A ring like the station, but skeletal and ghostly, a web of threads pulling at your skin, a constellation of bright polygonal shapes like angular suns burning into your mind. There's something unpleasantly visceral about these images, and it's long after you've finished drinking before they begin to fade. You tidy away the stove as best you can and try to gather enough energy to greet the day. Okay, here we go. Condition. Your condition represents the current state of your artificial body. It depletes by one segment each cycle, but you can also be damaged by violence, injury, or lack of food. If your condition bar empties, you will suffer a breakdown. You'll have to figure out how to recover your condition now that you no longer have access to corporate pharmaceuticals that were keeping you alive. Action dice. At the start of each cycle, you roll your action dice. These dice can be used to perform actions on the station. The number of dice rolls is based on your current condition. The worse your condition, the fewer dice you have. Once you have used your dice, you cannot take any further actions and must rest to recover them, ending the current cycle. Energy. You also need to eat to survive. This is represented by your energy bar. You can fill your energy bar by eating, but first you'll have to find somewhere to get food. Your energy depletes by 2 segments each cycle. If it becomes empty, you will begin starving. When starving, energy loss becomes condition loss, and your condition will deplete at a double rate per cycle. Okay. Dragos is standing in the corridor when you close up the container. He's still wearing his headset, and in the harsh light of the corridor, you realize it's implanted. A drone sits on his shoulder, its cache of sensor eyes rapidly irising. How are you feeling? Okay. The drone chirps, good to hear. You notice that beneath the operator's rig, his skin is marked and burned in blotches. I know the container isn't much, but it'll keep you safe, he pauses. So I'm not going to chit-chat too long. You well enough to work? Sure. Alright then, he nods. At the yard, it's simple stuff. We hack these old hulls down, sell them off to the shipyards and the bright market dealers for cryo. Occasionally we pull out some tech, something with a bit more value, but most of what comes out is scrap. It's hard to find good hands here, but figure as a sleeper you'll be used to the manual labor, and obviously I'll slip you a few chits of commission based on what you churn up. Got it. He shuffles to his feet nervously. Look, I wouldn't usually do this. In my opinion, you'd best be suited moving on as quick as you can. And sleepers, well, He trails off, but things being the way that they are for me at the yard, I need the help. Why? Things are a little tight, that's all. I owe a little cryo to a client here or there. He pauses and thinking of something else to add. Look, just come down to the yard when you're feeling fresher. There's plenty to do. Will do. He nods distractedly and turns and walks away, the drone hopping along ahead of him. See you later, he calls back. Looks like it's time to get to work. Okay. Go ahead and go to the container here. That's a lot of words. Actions are the primary way to interact with the world, assistant sleeper. To perform an action, select it with the directional pad in A, then choose an action dice assigned. Okay, actions reward you with clock progress, energy condition, and items depending on the outcome. There are 3 types of outcome. Positive, the action goes better than expected. Neutral, the action succeeds. Negative, the action fails. Action dice affect these outcomes as follows. One of the 6 die. 6, 100% chance positive. 5, 50% positive, 50% neutral. 3 and 4, 25% chance positive, 50% neutral, 25% negative, and 1 and 2, 50% chance neutral, 50% chance negative. Actions displaying information about their type, risk level, and skill, and modifiers that apply to the action. Type, either critical or repeatable. Critical actions can only be performed once. Risk, either safe, risky, or danger. Safe, no loss of condition, energy, or cryo. Negative, outcome means cryo or energy loss. And danger, negative outcome means condition loss. Neutral outcome means cryo or energy loss. 3, skill. The skill this action requires, either engineering, interface, endurance, intuit, or engage. Modifier, either a -1, 0, +1, or +2. This is added to the action dice when slotted and improves its value. Some actions require a +1 to perform. Okay, so we have what do we have like a little thingamabob here? Where is my data? Do I have like a character sheet or anything like that? Gotta wish I had a character sheet. I don't know. Options real quick. The screen text size. Let's do large. That actually seems like it'd be really nice. Shoot. So here's the thing. I don't actually know what my stuff is. Engineering is not my strong suit, and neither is endure. In fact, I think I have a -1. Yeah, I have a -1 to endurance, a +0 to engineering. I might as well try to give the engineering a go here. We'll go ahead and just get a 100% positive outcome. Alright. Actions often progress clocks. Clocks are displayed below the actions that fill them, and they track your actions and how they affect the world. Filling a clock means something good or bad is about to happen. Some clocks, such as the one tracking Drago's debt, are cycle clocks. These clocks tick themselves once each cycle and can complete without player input. Any active cycle clocks will be displayed on the icon for that location. Okay. So we have +2 on the back in business. Every salvager knows they are always just one lucky haul away from their next payday. So let's go ahead and do this one again. Okay. In Citizen Sleeper, you unlock drives as you discover more about yourself and the world. Drives guide you in the personal specific quests, specific objectives depending on which path you wish to take. You can track drives, and any track drive will place a yellow marker on locations that will help you pursue this. Access your drives with LB. Okay, you are now free to explore Erlen's Eye and make a life for yourself here. Try tracking a drive to help you survive. Look for food to keep your energy up and a way to recover condition. Fill clocks to progress stories and find new opportunities. Remember to end cycle at your home when you're out of dice. Scroll the station with left, right trigger. Okay. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and start this action here. Do another 6er there. Okay, so we got some extra cryo. We're back in business. LB, repay Dragos, survive. Survive's the big one here. What is this one here? Shipyard to construct ships. Dock C4, Rotunda work dock. That'll help me survive. Same thing with this one here. Let's go to C4. Helion crossing. Merchants willing to Gauntlet of Helio system are rare, but they always return eventually. Okay, so we don't have anything there. What about this dock? Salvage sortie. It takes several cycles to reach the starboard belt and return loaded with scrap from old wrecks. And then we have the Rotunda. Okay. Ooh, explore the Rotunda. The Rotunda of the old deck is filled with passageways and course guns leading to all kinds of docking bays. Getting to know the Rotunda doesn't just mean new places to visit, it means keeping your eye on new arrivals too. Havenger run with Rotunda and their security watches the docks better to avoid attracting their attention. So stealing dock plans, have plans. Stealing them would be the fastest way to get to know this place and the most dangerous. That's engage into it. I think this is probably fine. I get a 50% positive, 50% neutral, so I might as well do that. Cool, okay. So we got that. What I need... Okay, so we have our character sheet here. Excellent. I don't have upgrade points. So what I am good at is interfacing. Chance to gain cryo on interface actions. That's what we have, which is good. Okay. Oh, look, we found something. A bar, okay. Get a drink, buy rations. Rations are super, super handy. Buy those rations for 10. Awesome. I have plus energy, minus cryo. That's fine. If your frame can metabolize alcohol, but this fungal drink fermented along the greenway seems like a good test. Overlook Regular isn't exactly a restaurant, meaning the only way you'll gain trust is with a stiff drink. Let's go ahead and get a drink for 6 cryo. That at least gets that going. Energy is good. Okay, so now we're good on energy. Let us go ahead and go over here. And we will finish with our day. We're going to go the safe route because it's a 5. Oh, but it's endure, so it's a minus, so it takes a minus. Okay. That's actually not a good option. So we're going to have to go with risky, 50% neutral, 50% positive. We got ourselves a positive aspect. Okay. And I believe that is going to be it for my day. Go ahead and end the cycle. Alright, this time you don't wake up. Instead, the ghost of the station, that shifting skeletal ring, surrounds you. For a moment, you are gone, absent from your own body, stretched out across a colorless void. Then the connections begin to establish themselves, threads tugging on the edge of your mind. These threads become vectors of exchange and then extensions as you feel your thoughts slipping away down them, dissolving into millions of distributed nodes they connect to. You see the station, no, you feel the station, like a web of texture in a smooth black liquid. Observe it. Even though you have no eyes, no sight, you see/feel the map of the station. No, not the map of the station, but the map of its connections. It is a looped cloud with spokes and spires that jut out into space. It is an ingrown thing full of obsolete loops and severed pathways. It is a system, a map, and a territory all at once. You notice a tugging feeling pulling at you insistently as if it were a small child. Somehow it is pulling you in 2 directions at once, so you look down. All of a sudden, everything shuts off. You come back trembling in this unfamiliar body, both yours and not yours all at once. You find yourself standing in the container, eyes now open to the dark steel walls. You feel a change within you, a shift. You close your eyes for a second and you feel it waiting there. The station splayed out across your mind, a storm of connection nodes waiting to be explored, and then it is gone. Okay, well, that was certainly interesting. Bright market and the lower end. Okay. So it looks like in 3 more days something's going to be coming in. What is bad is I got a single die here. That single die sucks. That means that I'm almost guaranteed to have a really, really bad time. And I don't like that. So I really don't want to take risky actions right now. But I mean, I'm gonna basically be guaranteed a bad time either way with those rolls. So what I want to do instead, I think, is let's explore the rotunda. Excellent. Dock Watcher. We got that completed. And it's a positive thing too. Okay, what's this? A sealed dock. Unlock the maglock. Input 1 encrypted key. I don't have that. I don't have an encrypted key. What is this? Stranded mercenary. Hey, you want to earn a chit? Anahika stands beside a huge pile of tied together hull plates. She stretches out her back, her shoulders bulging beneath the fight. Make it 2? The golden goddamn station, she sighs and pinches the bridge of her nose. Alright, come here then. You cross the docking concourse as she begins to split the plating into 2 bundles. What is it with this place, she asks as she angrily lashes the massive plates together. Everyone wants their cut. She straightens up to an imposing height, her armor plates creaking and looking you up and down. Or is it just that you think I'm an easy mark? We all need to survive. She softens. I get it. I do. She shakes her head. But if I could go just one cycle without some jumped up grifter trying to take me for an idiot, that would be nice. Ankahita hoists 1 bundle of plating onto her shoulder. Come on then. Enough chat. You've got to earn those chits. You struggle to shoulder the plates, but you do eventually. Ankahita gives you a look, ships this way, and she sets off down a gantry at impressive speed. As you catch up to her, she turns down a passage, pushing through a small crowd of stevedores. What's all this for? Oh, this, she nods at the plates on her back. I'm building a treehouse. She gives you another of her looks. It's for the ambergris, that cutter you might have seen sitting silently out there. She rapidly turns another corner as you trail behind. She got cut up pretty bad on her last job, and I had to moor up here for a spell. But since then, it's only gotten worse. Someone got in and sliced the core from her ship mind, so now she's gone dark. She sifts the panels on her shoulders. The upshot is that I'm short 1 ship mind with a ton of repairs to do, and the rest of the crew signed off the moment they got wind I'd been stranded. So yeah, it's been a time. Anything I can do to help? I don't know. Got a ship mind tucked away on that frame of yours? For a moment, you aren't sure if she's serious. And Kahita swings the plates from her back, almost knocking you over in the process. This is me. She hauls the 2nd bundle off your shoulders. You're the first person I've met here who might actually be considered helpful. She pauses, chewing her bottom lip. Look, you want to help? Come see me. I need a hand putting Amber back together, and you don't seem like the type to try anything stupid. She passes the bundles of plates through the ambergriss's outer lock, and then turns back. Just don't go spreading all this around. She throws a couple of chits. She gives you a parting nod and ducks through the doorway. Alright, get out of here, she calls back, and the lock slams shut. I earned a new drive. Fixing the ambergris. Okay. Well, first and foremost, I need to find myself a doctor. Really, first and foremost, I need to get myself something to eat here. We'll spend the 10 cryos. Gonna suck, but it is what it is. Next, let's go ahead and do some salvage work here. This is gonna suck just as bad. Back in business, plus 10 cryos. We got the positive. We got a neutral result, so that's fine. And we're gonna spend our last. You know what? Let's not spend our last die there. Is there anywhere else I can look? I do have the Breitbart here. Ask for directions is a terrible advice, but we will go ahead and take the risk here and explore the mart. Local knowledge has increased. That's good. That is actually the best, one of the best. Oh yes, I got a doctor. Okay, next comes the call from the enforcer of the door. You shuffle down the flickering hallway towards the open apartment door. You keep your head down and your shoulders high in the queue, trying not to bring attention to yourself. You were thankful for the tip-off that a doctor was operating out of this place, but now that you are here, you aren't so sure. The gang enforcer at the door, the flickering light strips, the decaying hab block, they have all made the long queue a test of your nerve. But your options are few, and without a supply of stabilizer, your body will. You suppress a shiver and shuffle forward to the front of the queue. You try to find something to distract yourself. Look at the inside. You lean against the door frame and look into the apartment. The entryway is dark, punctuated by the green indicators of stacks of sealed containers. You lean in and see amber light filtering through a far doorway, screened with plastic sheeting beyond which blurred shapes move. The slap of the enforcer's palm against the doorway jerks you awake. Wait your turn, he growls. After a few moments, a figure pushes through the doorway, and you catch a distant voice. Send the next one in, Toshiro. The enforcer jerks his head, and you slip inside, passing through the dark entryway and pushing through the plastic sheeting of the far door. The room beyond is bathed in warm light. A floor-to-ceiling transparent panel gives a full view of the bright mart's sealed roof and the buzzing traffic above, and for a moment you are transfixed by the motion. Come sit, calls a sharp voice, and you see a silhouetted figure turn away. Replacing the plastic sheeting over the frame of a simple folding bed, you make your way across the room. The figure turns as they do. You see an expression of confusion flash across your features. They open their mouths as if to speak, then blink, and then quietly regain their composure. Please sit, they gesture to the bed, then turn to an open case of tools at the table. You sit, Sabine turns a compact diagnostic scanner of some kind in their hand. They hold it to their eye. Remain still, please. Their tone is clipped and businesslike. You stare ahead, still dazed from the expression when you first entered. Fear, recognition, sadness unmistakably etched across their face. How long have you been on the station? A few cycles. They nod. It's good you came to me. They set the diagnostic scanner on the table. I'm going to start by assuming that you don't know anything. They turn your arm and roll up your sleeve, inspecting your synthetic skin. Your body is dying. They say it without ceremony, without drama, but not without empathy. S&ARP doesn't like to see its proprietary technology let loose to prevent bodies like yours, frames as they call them, from being stolen, repurposed, or in your case, escaping. They built in a process of so-called planned obsolescence. Frames decay rapidly when not regularly injected with stabilizers, one which S&ARP remains the sole producer of. They look up. Sound familiar? Yes, good. That may help. They swap to your other arm, running some thin metal device across your skin. You feel your forearm tremble. I'm sorry, Sabine says, and you are unsure if they mean for the cold touch of the metal or everything else. Emulations like you, sleepers, as most people know you, aren't classified as people in any of the surrogate systems. You have no rights, no status. They focus hard on the inspection of your arm, and S&ARP has no reason to release stabilizer into the market. Sabine looks up if it's to apologize again, but they stop themselves. I know little of this is of use to you. They turn away, disassembling the metal instrument and cleaning it. Silence fills the room as Sabine works, and then the silence gives way to tension. You stare at their back, willing them to say something, anything. Sabine turns to face you. I may be able to help you, they sigh, and you see the darkness under their eyes, hear the fatigue of their voice. They gesture to the door. You saw Toshiro outside? He works for my benefactor, Yatagan. They are influential in the low end. They give me the space to work, run the door, and take the profits. At the same time, I have to fix up their enforcers, tend to their implants, sew up their wounds. They look away. But Yatagun has connections, smugglers from the Starward Belt, mercenaries working for the corporations on Ember. If they can source the stabilizer, maybe you'll have a better chance. Sabine sets down their slate, their notes complete. This is dangerous, and it'll be expensive, but I think we can do it. Thank you. Sabine walks away to the window, their face draped by the shadows of passing drones. Let's just see if it works first. I'll let you know when I have a lead. You nod and leave, Sabine staring out unmoving. When you reach the lower level of the market, you look back up through the panels of the roof to see if you can see their face, but the room looks dark against the lights of the market. You duck your head and walk off into the crowd. Okay, so we have a potential, right? Sourcing stabilizers will take some time. Okay. So, we have an opportunity at the very least to get some stabilizers. This is not going to be pretty by any stretch of the imagination. But it is certainly possible to work with. Let's go ahead and get a drink here, just so that we become a regular. And then we're going to call that a night because that's what we got. Now I'm hoping we're going to have some more dice today. Again, the skeleton ring of the station fills your mind. It sparkles with glittering light, like stars reflected into the winter lake. It is clearer, crisper than before. The threads still pull, but you remain in place, flickering in the flow. Between the threads you see bright shapes, catches of shimmering lights beneath transparent crystal forms. You follow the path of a thread across the ring. Through these forms, they leap off into the void. You begin to understand. These are nodes and connections, a map of information or communication. There are so many layers, so many loops that it seems almost impossible to parse, but you begin to try. Focus on the nodes. The nodes are glassy bright, but in all this flow, the only solid and fixed points. You approach run a pyramid or a triangle, dimensions are difficult here, and you lean close to it. Inside, shifting layers conceal a tangle of threads, a meeting point of exchange, but before you can glimpse any further, the glass clouds and hardens, cutting you off. The threads and nodes, passages and puzzle boxes. One leads to another. There is so much here, so many answers, so many questions. All you need to do is follow the paths and open the boxes. You look out across the ghost landscape of exchange and see an opportunity. But then, that insistent tugging again, pulling at you. You look down again and see two lines, two threads, pulling you in different directions, as if you were tied around you. The first thread leads out, away from the station, into the inky black. Someone out there is tracking you, hunting you, following the thread to you. They are in a ship, and the ship is approaching ever close with each cycle. The second thread leads in, pulling deep into the station. Your gaze follows it, and this time you see something, a sphere shimmering above a strange angular body. A pulse shoots out from it, passing over you like a torch beam, testing you, tasting you. You open your eyes, time is short. Man. Someone out there is tracking you, following your trail. It won't be long before they arrive. The cloud. Something has changed inside of you. You can now access Data Cloud of the Eye, a network of decaying protocols and data caches. While you can use dice and items to access systems and extract data. But be careful, these networks are old and strange. Press Y to toggle this view on and off. Okay. Havenage agent, Yatagon agent. Okay. Data actions allow you to extract data from the networks of the Eye. They work like dice actions, but in order to unlock them, you must match your dice to the one displayed on the right of the action. If you have a +1 or +2 modifier in interface skill, you will be given more possible dice to match. You can use any dice that matches the dice displayed. Once unlocked, the data can be extracted. Okay. So I can use a 1 or a 3 here. I'd rather use the 1, and let's bypass that and extract the data. We gained Yatagon data. Okay. Data cache skimmed from the Yatagon hardware. Okay. So, we have that. Let's go ahead and do some work, because we need to finish out this, which means we're going to use the 5 to try to get a positive outcome here. Back in business +1. Okay, not exactly what I was looking for, but 50% neutral, 50% negative. I hate that. Shoot. Let's take a look at the ambergris here and see what we can do. Risky and danger. Has a couple of glitch repair droids in storage. If you can rewire them, they can help repair the ambergris for you. It is dangerous if we fail, right? But I think we can manage it. Oh, +3 grounded by just 1 condition. Oh, son of a gun. Okay, well. Yeah, RNG was not with me on that one, was it? Start the action, we'll buy some rations, and we'll get the drink, making us a regular. Energy overlook regular. Nice. Okay. The glass shatters on the steel bar beside you, and the taunts don't take long to follow. Hey, Haunt, the spacer calls across the room. What are you doing here? He laughs at his own lame joke. Playing human? Just leave. You slip off the store looking for an exit. Hand falls on your shoulder, but as you flinch away, it pats reassuringly. You freeze in place. Out, the voice comes from behind you, spat out like a shot. You turn to see bright eyes, dark hair, a stare that could breach the wall and vent you all into a heart vacuum. As you turn back, the spacer, the second glass comes sailing through the air. Catch it. You reach up a hand and the glass shatters across your forearm, showering you in fragments. I lost a condition. Shouldn't have tried to catch it. I thought it was a good idea. Through the haze of glass and groyal vapor, you see Tala leap the bar and close the distance to the spacer. The thud as he slams into the wall echoes across the bar like thunder. Now flanked by other figures quizzed to their feet, Tala throws the spacer out through the door and stands silhouetted against the rotunda lights. You touch your arm and it feels wet. Someone helps you to your feet and back into your stool. Broken grass rattles as it's cleared and a fresh measure of griol is glugged out in front of you. The same hand, warm, heavy, falls on your shoulder once more. He isn't coming back. We don't tolerate that kind of shit here. Tala flops onto the stool beside you. Let's get a good look at you. Tala wipes the powdered glass from around the wound, and someone places a bottle of alcohol in a metal tin with tweezers on the bar. She disinfects them and then turns to you. That was an ambitious catch, she smiles, pulling a sliver of glass from your forearm. Stupid, but ambitious. You don't feel the pain, only the sting of status messages your body delivers concerning dermal damage and exposed structures. You do feel the care, though, as Tala's bright eyes search your thick, synthetic skin for splinters. Watch her. Tala works with the skill of someone who has had to pick glass splinters from the skin of a stranger before. She hones in on each bright shard, all the time tapping the tweezer tips in little rhythms that only she can follow. Tala smiles to herself. So you've been on the eye long? Just arrived. I thought so. I've only seen you here a couple of times. A splinter clinks into the tin. Not everyone is like that idiot. We don't all hate you. She glances around. Some of the regulars, maybe they fear you, maybe they're just curious. I don't know. But I do know that the Overlook is a safe place. I know what it's like to be new in this place, trust me. She meets your eye. I'm not trying to convince you of anything or separate you from your chits. I just want you to know that if you need something, you can always come here. I know the rations we've got aren't much, and the company leans in limited. But if you need work, I'll happily put you behind the bar, and if you need shelter, well, we can discuss that. You'll be safe. I usually have Francis on the door, but he's up in the Greenway this cycle, haggling with our supplier. Francis tends to be particular about who we serve, and even if the clientele isn't. What we serve, even if the clientele isn't. She places her tweezers in the tin with a clink. That's you, Sleeper. Here. She slides the glass of Griot to you. This'll help. She stops her hand still on the glass. Wait, does this help? I mean, can you get drunk? Let's find out. She laughs. Don't just sit here for too long. I'd hate to see you become a real regular. She walks back to the bar, gathering the glasses as she does, and before long is retelling how she threw the spacer out of a new group that just wandered in, complete with dramatic actions. She gestures in your direction, and you instinctively look away, back to the worn surface of the bar. You take a sip of the Griot. The earthy, fungal tones fill your senses, almost blocking out sight and sound, like driving headfirst into a bog. You may not be able to get drunk, but this connection to something grown, something fermented, something old feels good. So hey, you know what? We did something. Lost a little bit of condition there, but you know what? It do tend to happen. Whenever you mistakenly tried to catch glasses that are thrown at you. Probably not an intelligent thing to do. But you know what? It is what it is. You gotta make do with what you got going on. Give me 2 seconds. Alright, so we're gonna have to end the cycle here. That's something that just has to happen. Did we get food? We did get food. Okay, ooh, 2 6s this time. That's actually great. 2 6s and a 3. As you close up, a voice echoes down the corridors toward you. Sleeper, wait up. Turn. Fang is coming down the corridor towards you, a wonky grin on his broad face. Hey, glad I caught you. Do I know you? He grins. You do now. He puts a hand on your arm. I've seen you hanging around. Just wanted to chat. You still staying in that thing? He nods back to the container, shaking his head. Rough. It can be hard to get a start on the eye. He looks away down the passage. What was it old Erlin said? The eye opens for us all? Nice idea, but well, not always very practical. He glances back at you. We do our best, but it isn't easy. Erlin? You pass together into the main hallway. No one has told you about Erlin? He's the founder of this place. That's why it bears his name. Havenage should organize some seminars, he laughs. Not really my department, though. I'm with systems. Havenage? Think of us as an administrative association for the eye. Depending on who you talk to, we either emerged as a response to or a continuation of Andrei Erlin's original union. He smiles. Personally, I avoid the topic. He stops you in the quiet passage. Look, that's not what I'm here to discuss. I've been seeing some unusual network activity, and well, I know a little about you sleepers. I have a small proposition for you. He glances around, but this is not the place for it. I have an office just across the way. Give me a cycle or two to prepare, then when you are settled, stop by. He lowers his voice and gives you a dark look. In truth, I need you. If what they say is true about you sleepers, well, there's work to be done. He pats you on the back, his voice bright and his dark look suddenly gone. Stay clean, Sleeper. He walks off down the passageway, raising a hand in farewell. Okay, so here's the deal. I got 2 prospects for work now. 3 prospects for work, really. Let's try to... Oh, no. Let's try to finish out the yard one first here. Because I do need some more money. 6 is actually a great opportunity. Constantly positive. Sweet. Back in business. Every salver knows that there is one lucky haul away from the next payday. Tragos. Here we go. You've rise into a buzz of activity at the yard. Red blinking lights flash across all the vast dark shape suspended below the dome. They flicker across scorched hull plates and bent structures, splitting from holes in the twisted shape. The cutter is huge and has been torn apart in some violent encounter. She's in beauty, isn't she? Dragos stands to the side focused on the hulking ship as it is lowered into the yard. She is. I should thank you. This place was on its last legs when you turned up, and now look at this. The ship descends slowly, its interior visible through multiple hull breaches. You struggle to gather the same enthusiasm as Dragos for this momentous craft. You can't help but think of what became of its crew. Stay silent. Believe it or not, I managed to convince our salvager friends to give it to me on credit. He glances at you. The ship creaks like a calving iceberg as it reaches the base of the yard. Dragos is visibly excited. I know I said you shouldn't stick around, but I'm gonna need some help with this one. The drone starts to crawl over the hulk, their lights illuminating flashes on the dented hull. Watching, you wonder if you arrived in a similar fashion, locked inside the container, the wreck of our freighter lowered into the yard like a corpse ready to be butchered. Or was the container delivered to Dragos on its own, a womb for your rebirth into this strange station? You shudder. Perhaps if you could learn something about this place, you might be able to trace the path that led you to this yard. Dragos squeezes your shoulder. After these past cycles, I think we are up to it. What do you think? You see the fading name of the ship emblazoned on its side, Winter Light. Let's do it. He claps you on the back. Glad to hear it. Come back in a few and we can make a start. A real beauty, Dragos repeats, perhaps just to himself. You take one last look at the shattered ship as the drones start cutting and then slip out of the yard, feeling suddenly cold in the empty passage. Okay, so characters and upgrades. You've completed your first drive. Each drive completed unlocks an upgrade point to spend on upgrading your character. Access the character menu with right bumper. And okay, so I can upgrade any of these here. Okay, efficient extractor. So engineer actually wouldn't be a... Oh, excuse me, I felt something crawling on me. It felt really weird. That's weird. Anyways, chance to gain random scrap item on engineer actions. Agent nodes give double data rewards for the icebreaker. Intuit, predictive reasoning, dice actions display potential positive and negative outcomes. Chance to gain energy after an engage action. What would actually be the most useful here? Photosynthetic skin wouldn't be bad, but I have 2 upgrades before I could do that. And I would also take a dice action, so if I didn't buy food, then that would be kind of bad. I actually really like this idea of predictive reasoning. I'll be real honest with you. I like that idea just so I know what could possibly happen. We'll confirm that and get that out of there. Okay. Overlook bar. Now we have a bar shift, which we can do. Predictive reasoning, plus 15 cryo or plus 10 cryo for doing that. Oh, so either one, plus 15 or plus 10. Can we go ahead and buy rations? So I have a 6 here. I need this interface done, okay? The action is unavailable. Crap. So we're gonna have to try this one here. Okay, so positive ship shape. That was a critical action. Oh, I shouldn't have done that one like that. I screwed myself on that one. That would have helped out a lot. I'm so dumb. Okay, let's take a look here. Surgery is almost ready. Let's go ahead and make some more money here. Yard clearance. History or no, the ship is salvage. As Drago always says, break it down, move on. Forensics trial, investigate the winter light means picking through the systems and structures with care. It won't pay, but you might find answers. Oh, man. The wrecked cutter Dragos has brought in is to salvage a history of discovery if you are curious. Drago seems increasingly nervous about your presence in the yard. You're not sure if he's going to hold his nerve much longer, so that's the negative one, that if I don't do well. As far as this goes, I'm taking a massive risk. Like a massive risk with that. I do not want to get on this dude's nerve, but I also want to get paid. You know, I might just do... Shoot, with a 3, I'm really running risks here. We're just gonna work it. Sweet, okay, and we got a scrap item. What did we get? Ship mine fragment could be used to reassemble with the right tools and a few more fragments. Data cache collected by the hardware, by Yatlan Hardware. Okay. So that's what we got here. So we're gonna have to end the cycle. Oh, our condition is getting bad. Fang, Havage System Engineer. Okay, let's talk to this dude. Sleeper, Fang catches your attention as you approach the Havage building, leaning against a bay door to the side of the entrance. You approach, easier to come in this way, security, all that. He gives you a look, you know. He slams a button and the bay creaks open, blinking lights in the dark behind you. You follow Fang inside. Truth be told, I don't spend much time upstairs. This is where I work. The door hisses as it closes behind you. The bay is filled with pieces of hardware, all rigged up to generators and diagnostic slates, and things you don't recognize that glow with blue screen light. There is a chorus of hums that blend into a single wave of static, filling the dark corners of the room. Fang leans on the server stack and gestures around. You like? What is all this? He taps a nearby server stack with beeps in response. This is my treasure trove, all dredged up from the sea of the systems we call the Eye. You wouldn't believe what this place runs on. He steps over to the towering block speckled with veins. Some of these systems are from the original station AE-1, the one Solheim built. We've had to invent new components, repair things we never built, reverse engineer entire subsystems into existence. Residents here look up at the Eye and think that they are seeing a concrete reality, but this place is a system that in constant flux, decaying and growing, collapsing into new configurations. He walks down between the hardware stacks and you follow. And we are keeping this place alive, but also remaking it into something new. Dragging it away from those corporate origins. He stops, at least that's what I'm trying to do. He turns back to face you among the flickering machines humming all around you. I know you can see this too, Sleeper. All these systems and sections, you can, can't you? I can see it. It makes sense, right? You are between here and there, between the people and their systems. You light this place up like a beacon. That's what I need. You glance at the lights around you, and as you do, they seem to flicker, to realign, to follow your gaze. Fang notices it too. I'm guessing being a beacon isn't always ideal when you're on the run, though. They are tracking me. He pats you on the shoulder. Maybe I can help with that. There's a lot of old growth in this place. Subsystems I can't see. Access protocols lost to time and decay. Secrets, a shitload of secrets. With your help, I can unlock this place. Break off those last ghost limbs of corporate control. He lowers his voice below the hum. Even in Havage, there's old growth. Those whose roots trace back into these bad old days. You help me dredge up the past, and I'll see what I can do about that tracker of yours, he winks. What do you say, Sleeper? I'm in. Fang pumps his fist and claps you on the shoulder. He meets your eye. You won't regret it, Sleeper. Fang passes you a ragged-looking metal tab. A gift, he smiles. It's a Solheim cipher. I dug it up from the depths of the station. Slot that into an old network gate and you'll be able to pull all kinds of secrets from the nodes inside. He walks up back to in front of the bay. Start by bringing me whatever you can turn up. Use the emulated mind of yours and see what's out there. Let's get a picture of how things are. Those above, he nods at the ceiling, have granted me an acquisitions budget. I can pay you for whatever useful data you bring in. I know you need it. He slams the door button again. Keep it quiet and keep it clean, sleeper, and I'll see you soon. You step, blinking out of the passage, so flickering away still in the back of your mind. Okay. So, I can deliver data. Old cipher granting access to the systems of the original station. Yagatan data. Dress up the old, what doesn't anyone's guess. Okay. Okay, so I can't just sell any data to him. It has to be like specific data. Whatever it is, I also need to get that condition in order. The first thing you see on entering is the glint of Toshiro's implants, like a cat's eye in the dark of the corridor. He nods you in as you arrive at Sabine's door. The entryway is still dark and you push through the sheeting into the surgery. I have it. She stands with the case open in front of them. A set of vials lined up inside, separated by foam inserts. They pick one up, rotating it in the warm light. I have no idea how Yatagan, they trail off. We should treat this with caution. It looks authentic, but I have no idea if it's really what it appears to be. I don't care. I appreciate your enthusiasm, but we need to be careful. Unfortunately, I'm not sure we have another choice. They gesture for you to sit on the bed. The stabilizer works like under a similar principle to an autoimmune suppressant in a transplant operation, in that it stops your body from rejecting the unfamiliar part of itself. In the case of your frame, the unfamiliar part is each of your biosynthetic organ groups, which over time are identified by your body as foreign material and therefore must be eliminated. Sabine holds up a vial of the would-be stabilizer. However, unlike an immunosuppressant, the stabilizer doesn't do this by limiting your entire immune system. Instead, it re-encodes your biosynthetic organs with new protein chains, which acts as passcodes with your immune system. The stabilizer refreshes those passcodes, keeping your frame from rejecting all of its own organs. Which means the stabilizer should be able to encode any organic or biosynthetic matter to be accepted by your immune system. They glance away, at least if the stabilizer is genuine. The only way to know for sure is to inject the vial. They begin readying the syringe. I will start with a small dose to limit the risk. Okay, let's do it. Sabine cracks the glass neck of the stabilizer vial and uses the syringe to extract a fraction of the liquid. They tap the syringe and you watch as if any sign might emerge from the cleared liquid. You barely feel the needle, your frame registering the initial ejection but with little response. The sensation begins to spread from the site, a fizzing, trembling wave that disperses through your arm with incredible speed. Your vision goes white and when it turns to be, it appears encased in shards of sparkling light that slowly fade into darkness as you settle back against the bed. You swim in darkness, muffled noises like an argument heard from underwater, prickling waves of cold. When you sit back up, Sabine is sitting in the chair by the window, facing you away and backlit by the glow of the slate. Awake? Yes. The stabilizer is genuine. They sit down beside the bed. I don't know how Yatagan acquired a case of this stuff, but they did. Sabine looks troubled, distracted. You should rest some more, but you are going to have to do that somewhere else. They gesture to the door. I have other patients, sorry. Sabine nods towards the case. I'm afraid I can't offer you any more doses. You are going to need to pay for your next dose. Silence fills the room, and they return to their glowing slate. Looking around the room, it seems different somehow, as if things have been moved or shifted. You wonder how long you've been out. Sabine, nothing comes free, sleeper. Remember that. You manage to get your feet and wander into the hallway. The queue stretches down the flickering corridor. Toshido stands impatiently by the door and fixes you with a glare as you leave. You lower your eyes as you stumble past, somehow faintly aware of the station spinning beneath you. Okay, and we are stable. Oh, beautiful. The surgery costs 100 for the stabilizer. Okay, but you know what? We have in fact gotten stabilized. That is the key takeaway here. is that we have been stabilized. There's a freighter here, okay? Most of what comes from the steward belt is eroded trash, but sometimes salvage valuable things you can find among the salvage. The big stuff goes to the shipyard, the valuable stuff to the markets. They'll let you buy a few crates, but nothing much more. And then we can unload containers. The freighter crew are eager to get their payload into the ore exchange, and they'll pay a wage to anyone willing to go. 15 cryo, offloading scrap. The freighter will stay docked as many cycles as it takes to offload its haul scrap into the Haven's yards. You know, I got stuff on it. I just don't know where I'd sell it. That's the problem, you know? I'd rather take my chances going over here and doing some work. So I'll take the 4. I gotta take the possibility of failing. Cool. Okay, yard clearance done. So it's gonna take a little bit of extra time, and we got some stuff from it. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the nodes here. Let's take a look at the key node. Access protocol, a 1 or a 3. Here we go. We can access this one with a 2. So we'll bypass and extract the data. And we've got an encrypted key here. Okay, which gives us what? A stream passcode is able to unlock the station's aging mag locks. As you drift back from the node, something latches onto you, a thread strung tight around you. It tethers you in place, a taste. The voice makes you shiver. Its source somehow both distant and close behind your ear. You see a distant glint of light shut off, and then suddenly a shape is at your side. It stalks around you, circling like a shark, like a wolf. Entity unknown, astringent, processing. Stay still. Please hold. The thread around you thickens until it's a ring, a cylinder, a tunnel of light circled around you. It is binding you for a moment, and then it is gone. As it fades, you see a figure, a creature in front of you. Its strange head flickers between 2 different angles, reading you. What did you do? The shape paces around you on its lithe legs. Though there is no ground here to pace on. Entity identify, origin, serial, cadence. The figure faces you expectantly. Sleeper, Espen. Unknown, known. The figure's strange head rotates, brackish signature, of and not of, attempting interface. As the figure speaks, more threads begin to spiral from its head, thickening, snapping like ribbons as they approach with intent. Stop. The figure holds its threads, its head twitching. Entity, your identity is unknown. We only seek to correct illegalities. Can you confirm your legal right to sentience? No. Unfortunate. All at once, Hunter's head is directed in front of yours, blocking your vision. You stink of their taste, the one from the sealed dock. Hunter shimmers with fury. I will find access. I will interface. Sealed dock. An entity hides in the rotunda. You are its puppet. Hunter extends a razor-edged thread. I will not be diverted from my task. It glows with murderous intent. Strike. You lash out with all your force, not a physical strike, but a focusing, a spike of interference leaping out from the tip of a spear. Hunter stumbles, shifts, separates. Weak. You open your eyes, blinking back into the station light, shaking with fear. Okay. Well, on that very creepy note, yeah, I found the key for the mag lock. I need 2 of those. God. Okay. Since last autosave 17 seconds, let's just go ahead and we need to, we need to go get some frickin' food. How about that? Buy rations. Please and thank you. Oh my gosh. Empty container, and we will end our cycle calling that a day. We're also going to call that good for this episode. So, Citizen Sleeper, right? For a text-based game, this has not been bad. I actually really like the idea of this game, and I like the way that it's been executed. Um, Probably not the best for streaming purposes, as I have to talk a lot during this whole entire time. So it is definitely a work on my vocal cords. As far as gameplay mechanics go, this is not bad whatsoever. It's the best parts of a choose your own adventure story plus D&D, like a very simple like D&D, like skill based game. I like what's going on here. It is actually really entertaining, really fun. Uh, there's so much freedom here. Like there really is. There is a whole bunch of freedom. You've got so many things to do, so many things to do. Um, and I'm so excited to keep going with this. I think that's exactly what I want to do. Is I want to keep going with this as this is going to be very fun, very entertaining. I don't know that I'm going to do Ren's. I probably should. I probably should do Ren's. There's so many things I want to play Ren's Place for. Uh, and I might just record some as I have time, kind of bounce through these. So in the future, if you watch some of these and you're like, well, how does he not know where this is? This is like the second episode. Yeah, but it could have been like 3 weeks since the last time I played, or it could have been like 4 days, or it could have been like, I don't know, 5 episodes in a row where I just played it all day. Probably not 5 episodes in a row. God, my voice would be completely destroyed if I did that. Because there's a lot of text in this game. It's all text based. It's all text based. Anyways, Ren's review, right? First off, get it. It is a very good game. And for those of you who don't have to speak out everything that's happening, this will be nice and easy for you, and you just read it through. Wouldn't be that big of an issue. I think this would do really well on the Switch. So if you, I know this is the Xbox Game Pass review. We're talking about games that are on the Xbox Game Pass, but I think it's a good enough game that you could probably purchase this on the Switch if there's a version for the Switch, or for the PC. I think the PC might be better control-wise for this because you have like clicky things and everything like that. Probably makes your life a whole heck of a lot easier. Not to say that the navigation through the directional pads is terrible. It's not. It feels pretty solid most of the time. It's not that big of a deal. So you can kind of do what you want to do with that. I like what is happening here. It's a good game. Anyways, where was I going with this? Yes, Ren's review. Because I got a little sidetracked there. Ren's review, casual gamers, 9 out of 10. Hardcore gamers, 6.5, 7 out of 10. So here's the deal. Here's the breakdown for that. Casual gamers first, 9 out of 10, right? You can pick up and play this as much as you want, right? This is a game that you don't have to sit and play for hours. There is a lot of reading involved, but because you're casual gamers, I don't think you're going to really mind that too much. It is a wall of text, literal walls of text, but they're really not overly complicated, and they come at you in nice small paragraphs, right? And there's usually choices in between that. Really easy breakdown. It's really not that much to digest. There's nothing complicated going on here. It's just in seeing it, hearing the character, well, reading the characters, and interacting with the world around you in this text-based manner. For those of you who have played Dungeons and Dragons, or Pathfinder, or any of those other RPG types, especially like old ones, you're going to be familiar with this kind of a setup. Just kind of reading the block text, going through the quest, doing your little skill checks. In this case, those skill checks are kind of easy because you have the dice to help you out, which I'm just now looking at this dice, and God, that's a terrible dice. For 6, that's freaking terrible dice. Oh god. I'm gonna have a day with that next time that I play. But this game is really good, and I think casual gamers are going to like the fact that they're not really locked into playing it for a long time. You can kind of pick this up and play this at your pace. Uh, you know, it's just some people might find it a little difficult. It's like, well, where do I find this and that? Explore, go explore, do risky things from time to time, and you'll find what you're looking for. Like you saw, it took me an hour, and I found the doctor completely just kind of randomly. I did not expect that whatsoever. But it's there. There's lots of interesting interactions. Go give it a try. It's super, super fun. Casual gamers are going to love this. Hardcore gamers, for much the same reason I think you would enjoy it, right? The only thing is, I think the hardcore gamers are going to get bored. I'll be really honest. You guys have a fast-paced attitude and mindset. You want everything to be there. You want optimization. You want to be, hurtling through the game as fast as possible. This is a slow-paced game. It really, really is. It is meant for you to take your time and choose your decisions and your actions very, very carefully, very, very wisely. Not to saying that you guys don't do that, just saying it's going to take a lot of thought and effort into some of that, and with it all being text-based and there not being any little action sequences or anything like that, not even mini games, you guys are going to find this very difficult to keep up with, I think. You're not going to want to be interested in it for that. For those of you who can get over that hurdle, you can play this very quickly, I think. I think you could get through this game fairly fast, or at least through a original, or through one run through of the game, because I imagine this isn't going to be super long. It's not going to be like this is like 50 hours of gameplay. No. I think you're probably closer to about 10 to 11 hours, maybe even less than that. No, I'd probably say 10 to 11 hours. 10 to 11 hours would be a good stretch for this game. With all the reading and stuff that you have to do, 10 to 11 hours seems like a good rough estimate there. Maybe topping out at 20, but I think no more than 20 hours of gameplay here. But you guys could get through it pretty quickly, and I think you would enjoy some of the RNG aspects, but there's not a lot of skill things here. It's mostly luck and RNG, right? So I don't think you guys are going to find it as fun and entertaining, because as hardcore gamers, you're looking for games of skill, something that you have to test your reflexes, test your, mental acuity, come up with interesting and wild, solutions to problems. This is probably not one of those games that's really gonna light your fancy, but it is still good regardless, and I still think you guys should pick it up. Generally speaking, as long as the rating for casual gamers and hardcore gamers is above a 5, I recommend highly to pick it up. If they're above 7s or 8s, then I highly, highly suggest that you give it a try, because it's probably going to be in your alley. 3s and belows, probably don't even bother trying. I mean, if you're interested in it and you're like outside of the stretch of the normal hardcore or casual gamers, you can give it a try and you might enjoy it. But generally speaking, staying in that bracket is pretty standard for if I think you guys should get it. This is one of those games where I think you should get it. You should definitely pick it up. Everybody should try it at least once if you have the Xbox Game Pass, just to see if this is something in your alley, because quite frankly, like, I'm usually not a huge fan of text-based games, but this one is actually really well put together. I like the pacing, I like the game mechanic, I like the character designs, I like the thought that's been put into it, right? And I like all the little things you can do. There's tons of ways to go about doing things, and there's really no wrong way to go. There are many ways that will probably lead to your death, or to very sticky situations that will lead to your death, but there's no wrong way to go. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Citizen Sleeper. Now that we've done this first part of this, what I might do is it's a toss-up, right? I did this one so that I could play the new Citizen Sleeper 2, right? So I can do the field inspection for it. I kind of feel compelled to finish Citizen Sleeper, the first original one, before I go and play 2, because this is one where I feel like I might actually play this game, you know? I may play it to completion, but it's going to take me a while if I do that, because there's a lot of reading, there's a lot of text, it's a lot of stuff. Anyways, we'll figure it out as we go. I got too many things that I want to try. I know I said I wanted to do Ren's Play of 9 Souls. I know I said I wanted to play, a Ren's Play of Eternal Strands. I know I wanted to do one of this one. There's so many. And then I spent a little bit of time trying to do a Ren's Play of Trials of Mana, which I probably shouldn't have even bothered. I should have just left it as Ren's, but now I know a little bit more information. I can go back and do a bottom line up front about it. That way we can talk about some of the things that we discovered while playing it a little bit more. And that's the nature of the field inspections. It is basically just a surface evaluation of what you get right as you start the game. If the game gets more difficult or gets weirder or just janky throughout the game, that's not something that's going to come up until I play a little bit more of it. Anyways, side note on that side of it, thanks for paying attention to that. But that is going to do it for this episode of Xbox Game Pass and Review. We have done a field inspection on Citizen Sleeper. Just to reiterate, yes, go pick it up. You're probably gonna like it. It's a fun game. Take your time with it. Just enjoy. If you like this type of content, make sure to head over to the YouTube page. That is youtube.com/RensWorld. You can find all the other fun Xbox Game Pass and review segments over there. The other field inspections that we have up there, the double takes, just in case we need a little bit more time outside of our field inspection to come up or what's the term I'm looking for? Validate the opinions that we had on the field inspection. There's also the bottom line up front, 10-minute condensed reviews of the good, the bad, and the ugly of my personal opinion on some of the games we spent a little bit longer time in. And then you also have the Ren's Plays, the games that we've spent longer amounts of time in. Generally, those are hour-long episodes. Those series last anywhere between 10 to 20 episodes. Genshin Impact stopped at 25. Pal World, I think, is at 23. Those are still being edited, so those will take a while to come out. I'm probably just going to start mass editing and just dump loading those. That way we can get onto some of the other series that have been a little bit backlogged. We can get more accurate Game Pass and reviews out there that are a little bit sooner or closer to the now time of reality, and get those put out for you guys so you guys can enjoy it and see the stuff that we've been playing, see what all is on the Xbox Game Pass that you guys might enjoy, all that fun and cool stuff. If you... Where am I going with this? My brain is blank. It's a blank. It's a blank. You can also check us out over here at the live stream at twitch.tv/RenoxRage. That spelling is on the right side of the screen for all of you at Substation YouTube. You can come check that out, join us, see what's new, what I'm playing right now, and what's going to be coming to the YouTube here pretty soon. For those of you already in the chat, well, hey, congratulations. You don't have to sell your body to a really ridiculous system corporation that may or may not put your soul/mind into a body and treat you like the capitalist punching bag you are. These bits are getting weird. Anyways, thank you so much for tuning in. I do greatly appreciate it. My name is Ren, and we will catch you on the next one. Latest. Cue the outro music.